Hello guys, my name is Martin, and in this tutorial I'd like to show you how you can translate SuperAlgos and contribute to the project. To get started you will need a GitHub account, a Git personal access token, and SuperAlgos must be installed together with Git on Linux, macOS or Windows. You cannot use the standalone version of SuperAlgos because it doesn't have Git installed, and so you can't contribute to the project. The installation of SuperAlgos with Node and Git under Windows I have shown in the first video tutorial. You can find the link to it below in the video description. It also shows how to get a GitHub account and a Git personal access token. If you want to contribute translation to SuperAlgos, you first need to make sure that your local version is up to date. To do that, go to GitHub, click on your profile icon, click your repositories, click on SuperAlgos, click on master and switch to the develop branch. Now you can see that this branch is 17 commits behind the SuperAlgos develop. To update, you click on Fetch Upstream, and then you click on Fetch and Merge. Now this copy is up to date with SuperAlgos on GitHub. You need to pull it from there to your local installation to bring that up to date as well. In my setup, I'm running SuperAlgos in Docker on my NAS. To update it, I have to stop the container and then restart it. If you want to know more about Docker and SuperAlgos, you can write me on Telegram or Discord. Once the Docker container is restarting, it automatically pulls the latest version from my fork on GitHub. You also have to close and restart your version on Windows or Mac or Linux. Once SuperAlgos server is restarted, I reload the web page on my computer. Now you can run the app update command. To do this, click on Docs here and type app update in the text box at the top. The message shows that this copy of SuperAlgos is already up to date, so we don't need to restart the client again. So next, change the branch to make sure the current branch is develop. In the docs section on the right side, scroll all the way down to the footer and check if the current branch is set to develop. If it's set on master, click here on develop. Also check if the contributions branch is set to develop. If not, click on develop. Choose your language that you want to translate into. I like to translate to German, so I click on the German flag. It can happen that when you restart SuperAlgos, the client or the server, or load any workspace, the language might jump back to English. If you don't notice this, you override the English text with your translations. This can cause some unnecessary work to undo. The original files need to be restored, and when everything is back in its original state, the translations need to be done again. So make sure that the language you want to translate into is selected. I have selected German and the docs are in German now. Next step, setup of LAN network and Git API. Right-click anywhere in the black on the workspace and hover over APIs node. If the GitHub API node doesn't show up here, hover your mouse button over the new APIs node and click on the plus icon. And then hover over the GitHub APIs node and click configure. You can paste in your GitHub username and your GitHub personal access token between the quotation marks. So just copy them and paste them in. Copy and paste. I have explained how to get your GitHub username and personal access token in the first video. So now what not to translate? Do not translate the terms or names of the nodes. So don't translate trading system or the name Lightning Strike. Don't translate the titles of the tutorials or any other note, so people can find them again. Don't translate any name or term used in the user interface, like play, resume, configure. Let me start a tutorial. You also don't translate the buttons like stop, skip, previous, or next. So to conclude, every part of the user interface shall not be translated. In the tutorials and the documentations, some terms are underlined. This is a sign that there's an explanation of this term when you hover your mouse over it. If the term would be translated into your language, the link to the explanation would not work anymore. So do not translate these terms with the underlining. Now you may ask yourself, where can you start with the translations? A good start is the translation of the tutorials. There's a spreadsheet where the current state of the translations is documented. There you can also enter your own progress. You can find the link in the Discord channel or the Telegram group. In this Google Sheet you can see in the first column the title of the page, and there are 3 more spreadsheets, one for tutorials, one for documentations, and one for foundations. Just check what is not yet translated into your native language. So for me, I check the translations for German of the tutorials, and most of them are translated. So these are not translated yet. You can copy the title and search for it in the documents. That is a good way to start your translations. Just click on Docs and paste in the title, and click on the title you find, and here you can start translating. For me, it made sense to concentrate just on the translations. You can do that here in the Docs section. Multitaskers can also load and start the tutorial and translate it simultaneously. This tutorial is in the token distribution workspace, so I load that workspace. Be patient while the workspace loads. It can take a while. Afterward, the workspace has loaded. You have to double check if the language is still set to the language that you'd want to translate into and not has fallen back to English. You can't just right-click here in the tutorial window and start translating right away. To start translating, you have to open the Docs section. If you cannot see the corresponding text here, you can copy the title and search for it. Then click on the title link and you will be taken to the correct page. To translate this part, you can right-click on a paragraph and select the pencil icon. But be careful, before you do that, scroll down again to double check and make sure that the language you want to translate to is still selected here. It often happens that SuperAlgos is set back to English, and when you translate it, make sure that the language you want to translate into is still selected. So I click on the tutorial link and I can see it's still on German. And this one is already translated. So I can either click here on next or there on next to go to the next page. This is translated as well. So I click on next again. This one is not. So we can start translating by clicking on Docs. Right click on the paragraph you want to translate. Move the mouse pointer over the pencil icon and confirm with the left mouse button. Now you can edit the text. You can also just copy it and paste the translations in later. You can finish and close this field by right-clicking above it. Next, what is the best way to create the translations? Spend some time to work out a workflow for you. I recommend to start with an online translator. Here is a pretty good list. There's Google Translator. Open that in a new tab Microsoft Bing, open a new tab, DeepL, open in a tab, and many, many more. It is really recommended to try out first and test which site gives you the best translations in your language to start from. To do that, you can just copy a sample text and paste it in here, and here, and here. You will see the translations almost immediately. You can copy them or rate them. You can click on a section and you will see several different versions. Make sure that the translations make sense and most importantly that it's easy to understand what it's meant.
Tutorialschritt: ein Token, sie alle zu beherrschen, zusammenfassen.
You can also listen to the translations.
Tutorialschritt: ein Token, sie alle zu beherrschen.
Here it says one token to governance them all, and you can select to rule them all. So this has a built-in dictionary where you can select the most appropriate translation. Alter the translations until you think it's a good translation for the text. Here in DeepL you can also listen to the translation. That helped me a lot.
Tutorialschritt: ein Token, sie alle zu beherrschen.
When you're satisfied with the translation, just copy a paragraph and go back to SuperAlgos in the Documents area. Right-click again on the exact paragraph for which you copied the translations from. Select the pencil icon, select the entire English text with Ctrl-A, and override it with the translations by pressing Ctrl-V. To close, click with the right mouse button somewhere above the text field. Then you can continue with the next paragraph in the same way. Select it, hit Ctrl-C to copy, go back to SuperAlgos, right-click on the paragraph, select the pencil icon, hit Ctrl-A to select all, hit Ctrl-V to paste it in, right-click above the paragraph to close. Make sure you don't select the translations of tip, note and summary because they're inserted automatically and won't be translated. Next, select all and copy, right-click, edit, select all, paste in, right-click. And the last time, go back to the translator, select the text, hit Ctrl-C to copy, go back to SuperAlgos, right-click, edit, select all, paste in, and when you click underneath, it doesn't close. You have to click above. You should save your progress from time to time. To do that, enter DocSave in the form field at the top of the docs. The content of this page will be saved to the disk. Don't refresh this page until the important message is disappearing. On some pages there are some special characters, like these keyboard shortcuts. They can also be translated to your local keyboard layout. Just copy them, go to your translator, paste it in, and you will see the translations of the keys. Copy it again, go back to SuperAlgos, edit the paragraph and paste it in, and you can see that not all keys have been recognized, just the Alt key. To fix this, there are some HTML codes. You can check them out here. For the keyboard keys, you can take up the angle brackets followed by KBD and the closing angle bracket. The same behind the key, but with a backslash after the first angle bracket. Back to the translations, edit it, and paste in the code before and after the key, and add the backslash. Again, before and after the key, and add the backslash. You can do that for the Alt key, but you don't have to because that's recognized already. Do that for all the keys. Finish by right-clicking above. That worked, and we have the green key symbols back. The explanations of the terms, which are underlined here, can also be translated. Either you can do it immediately or later. If you want to translate them later, you can copy and paste the term into the worksheets under Foundations. Then you know what needs to be translated later. This is already present in the table. You can also immediately click on the term and you will be taken to the page with a text you can translate. It's just the one after summary. As usual, click on Edit with the right mouse button. I do this later as this disturbs my workflow. Sometimes when you right-click on something, you don't get the option to edit it. Then look if you can spot those little quotation marks. These quotation marks show that the text is an instant of one from another doc's page. If you select to highlight this line, you can see the path to the source, where the original text is, and there you can translate it. Well, where are we now? We had the special characters. There are also HTML codes for bold or italic text, for the keyboard shortcuts, and BR for line break. There's no backslash for a line break. There's also no end of a line break. We also had the cannot be edited. This was this part here. And there's also one where you cannot save. Sometimes there's a bug that the translations are not saved and you always get the original English text again. To fix this, you can either search the file system on your local copy for the JSON file that contains the text and edit the text in a text editor in the file itself. Or what I do is to add the error in the table. To do this, I go to the Google Sheets to the step where I'm working on and highlight it in magenta. Then I add a little note with the error and the translation in my native language so I can copy it later. When you're done translating, you type in docs.save again and press enter. It will show you that the changes have been successfully saved to your local computer. Most importantly, now you have to push your local copy to your GitHub fork to make your contribution to the SuperAlgos project with your translation. You can do that with the command app.contribute, followed by a description. Write the team, your language, and the part that you translated. In my case, it's app.contribute, education translation, German, and then the chapter that I translated. You can contribute as often as you like. I recommend you to test the contribution process to see if it works for your installation. Also document your progress in the table. Scroll to the headline of the pages that you have translated. Enter your Git username, followed by the current months and year. Please color code it. Orange stands for translated. Yellow stands for pushed. Mark it green when it's in the develop branch. And light blue or cyan when it's in the master branch. Or magenta when there's any issue. This way the team can keep track of what should be translated and what is already translated. If you cannot find a page by searching for the headline, sometimes the doc.reindex command can help reindexing the whole documentation. So that was the tutorial. If you have any questions, you can ask us in the Telegram group or in the Discord channel or in the forum. Thank you very much for watching it right to the end.